Hey guys, it's Tage, and I'm back with another Overhit video. It's been a while since I've actually gotten back into this game, and I meant to revisit sooner than I had. So, the past few weeks, I've been kind of playing the game and getting a feel for it. So, the past few weeks, I've just been playing the game and getting myself ready to make this video because I knew I wanted to get back into Overhit and continue sharing videos on it with you guys, because I'm trying to make more content than just Brown Dust and Destiny's Child. So first we're going to go over to campaign. And like last time, I'm not going to be showing any of the story content to avoid spoilers for those who do not want them. We're just going to look at the game mechanics of it. And I do have to say, I do love the loading screens. They're always so beautiful, whether it's showcasing an area or a character. They're just really detailed, and I love them. And as you can see here, you can go ahead and fight by yourself. It gives you the option to set up the order of how you want to have which character complete an attack. And then you also have the option for auto if you don't want to sit there and control your characters. They will do all the work, obviously, and you have different ranges of speed. And I just love like the animation of it. The 3D animation of the battle is beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I also like the 2D designs. Now, as far as the campaign goes for the story, I do generally like the story, but it's not like the most amazing thing I have like ever seen either. It's not super unique. It is engaging and enjoyable enough. I think one of the problems I have with the story is it will show you like the 2D title card when the person is talking, which is good. You know, you need to know who's talking. But they also have this 3D animation, and their facial expressions don't always match up. So because they don't match up, they use the 2D method to show their expressions. And I know next to nothing about how 3D animation works, other than the fact that it looks really fucking hard. And it's amazing what companies can do nowadays with 3D animation. I just find it weird looking at some of the 3D animation and the expressions do not add up. So it just kind of looks weird with the 2D showing the expression and the 3D animation just kind of looking very blank. It's very off-putting to me. And that is by no means a deal breaker for me when it comes to this game. It's just a little quirk that I've noticed that it gets on my nerves a little bit. But, I mean, bravo to the fact that they even have 3D in this game, because a lot of games are just 2D. And while 2D can be very beautiful and very masterly done, it takes a lot of work to do something like this, and I commend them for that. So I have found that with Overhit, I do enjoy this style of combat, just basically just seeing it in real time and just the back and forth. It's kind of like, well, I don't know if I would necessarily call this turn-based. It feels like, because it feels like it's more of a real-time battle where you're actually fighting and everything's coming at you at once and stuff like that. So I don't know if you would actually call it turn-based, but I do like the style of battle. It's just absolutely beautiful. And just the detailing on the clothing and the voice animation. For the purposes of the video, obviously I don't have the voice, like the music or anything on, but it is beautiful. I really like it. And going back to a little bit about the 3D itself, I think sometimes with 3D and 2D, you obviously have a different look. So the characters don't always match up to how they look. I think that bugs me a little bit. I think the biggest notice is, if you play the game, you'll know who I'm talking about. But Helena, her 3D animation and her 2D animation are like really different. Like the colors are the same for the most part, but it's not like spot on. So it just kind of throws me for a little bit. And I also like how they give you information about the character when on the loading screens. That's always fun and engaging. I just like how buttery and smooth everything is as it's moving across the screen. It's just so fluid and it's amazing. And the enemies themselves, while there are a lot of repeats in the area, I feel like they are they are very interesting to look at, and just the design that goes behind them. It's just, I don't know, I just really appreciate the different types of enemies you come across. And their heroes are by far like top tier, like the looks. Like I am so impressed with the different characters they've created. Now that I've showed you a little bit of the combat, we're going to get into some of the events that are going on. They're pretty simple. I'm going away from the event dungeon at the moment because I'm going to be showing that off later. And basically, the current events that are going on is, the first one is, I have no idea how to say her name, so I'm just going to call her Yig. You spend a certain amount of AP and you are able to get these items over here. These are for wind type users, so this would be great for if you have wind characters you're wanting to level up. You can get yourself some upgrade potion, you can get yourself some skill upgrades for the wind type. You can get yourself some element charge, which is used to upgrade your element level. And you get some soul stones, and there's also a wind grimoire, which is a really, really powerful item, usually in the form of equipment that is specific to a certain character. So you couldn't just equip it to, say if you had Elizabeth, you couldn't equip her grimoire to Leica. So that you basically, you spend the AP and then you get the items. And then underneath is the new character that they are showcasing. They recently added him. They say Haltz, but I've also heard him called Heart, so I don't know if that is a typo, but here is the new character. I personally do not like his 3D form. It looks kind of, I hate to say this, but it looks very awkward looking. It just doesn't fit this nice 2D image. But anyway, you're going to get these items from using legendary tickets, so they're going to get rewarded for doing this event. You've got crafting materials, you've got SSR cards you can get, grimoire items you can get, and items that are specific to Halt himself. I would definitely say go for it. I mean, it looks like that you're going to have to really use a lot of tickets, which would mean that you would have to have a lot of diamonds and or saved up, or if you're going to like recharge. So I don't know if this is necessarily something good for a free player unless you've already been saving for this event, if you knew it was coming. Because otherwise you're going to have to spend a lot of crystals to be able to get some of these items, let alone to complete the entire board. All right, now we're going to move on to this next event. So basically the way this event works is you do the items on the list, like you clear the Terra shift one time, that you can then go over to the board game and use the tickets to get the items on the board, which is pretty simple. Okay, moving on to Agnes's event. Essentially, it's the same thing as the board game. You just collect the coins and you use the coins to spin the wheel. When you spin the wheel more than a certain number of times on the ticket, you will obtain a chance of the golden wheel. A better reward comes from the golden wheel. Okay, now we're going to go over here to the trek. Essentially, it's kind of like, the best thing I can compare it to is the exploration in Destiny's Child, where you send certain characters off on this adventure kind of thing. I say venture very loosely. And your character gains experience. This is the exact same thing. You get something out of the end of it. And the neat thing about this is they have a certain designated time for when they'll get done. Some take longer than others, and some aren't very long at all. So we'll just set this one up. You also have certain stipulations, like this. In this one, they have to be female. So we'll just set Elizabeth, and I believe her name is Ludmila. And these require like a physical type. We'll set up these two. And it'll take 10 minutes to complete. And I will obviously come back once the timer has run out. Alright, so we're going to go over here and check out the different areas that they have. First we'll go to the Terra shift. And depending on which one you go through, you can get ARN, upgrade materials, and equipment. So we'll go through the equipment, and we'll go through the normal route. And you just go through here and fight the enemies and collect the rewards at the end. It's pretty basic. It's not very hard at all. As far as the execution of it. As you can see, some of these are more lower grade, but you can upgrade your materials, so that is also nice. The higher you go, the better gear, obviously. Doesn't seem that all that hard, but I do have my characters decently leveled. So let's see how we fare against the boss. Okay, that didn't really do any damage at all. Just a little bit on Elizabeth and Mary. I've nearly killed him already. Yep, and he's done. So this is essentially how the Terra shift works. You go in, you fight the battles, and you get the rewards at the end. And these are some decent rewards. You get some more upgrade potions and crystals. Crystals are always nice. You automatically get 2 chances per day, and then you'll have to wait a certain amount of time, in this case 2 hours and 20 minutes, to be able to go back in there. Alright, and next we'll show off the raid. These are your raid bosses where you can go through there and fight them. I believe you have to have a certain amount of element chips, that's what I'm going to call them, element chips, to be able to fight them. We'll go ahead and show off Vedrir. That's a tongue twister. Let's see here. And with each time you summon them, obviously the level goes up. So they become harder and harder each time. And I have him at about a level 2 right now, so it's not that high at all. I love this animation. It's so amazing. And I kind of also like the character commentary along the way. So you kind of get like it adds a little extra element to it. It's nothing major. It's just kind of nice. And even at a level 2, he is really impressively strong. I mean, my characters are mostly holding their own, with the exception of Elizabeth kind of falling a little bit, but nothing that Sophia can't fix. And essentially that's how the raid boss works. You have 5 chances per day, and I think you also have to have those tokens to be even able to go in. But I think they automatically give you so many per day. And then when you're done, you just go over and collect your reward. And it can be anything from equipments to shards to Arn. I'm actually going to go over here and see if I can fight against Spinks. I absolutely love this animation. It's so amazing. And just the detailing on his armor, like the jewelry and the headdress. Oh, I love it. And just these special moves, I will say these are just amazing to watch. Just the amount of the animation that goes into them. And just I don't know, they're just really well executed. And as you can see, at level 1, he's not super strong. Which is, you know, obviously he's level 1, so he's not really going to be that strong. Of course, that's different for like the space-time raids. They are exceedingly hard, which I will show those off in a few moments. And here we have the Dimension Gate. You can go through the different campaigns and get soul stones for the particular characters. We'll go through Sophia's. And I also like how you can have like a different team for each different areas, like the arena, the space-time arena, because as you'll notice, my team is a little different from the campaign or the raid. I mainly forgot to change them out, but I also felt like it was a good time to actually, it was also a good choice because I could also comment on the fact that you can change up your team so easily and it doesn't have to be the same. Just really look at that animation on the fish. It's just like so seamless. Like, I know I seem hung up on the animation, but this is, for the most part, it's very grade A. Like, I do have my beef with the expressions, which I've already rambled about, but like, the animation alone is just so well done. And it makes it enjoyable just to sit here and just watch it. And I'm glad I revisited this world because when I first started playing, it was just like a lot. It was so overwhelming because there was just so much going on. It's just like, where do you start? But once you get in there and you understand the mechanics of it, it's really not too difficult. It's just a lot starting out, so I wouldn't recommend it. Forget who is someone who's just getting into adventure app games. I mean, it's certainly one of the most impressive 3D I've seen, though there is another that rivals it. I would say Air of Light definitely rivals Overhit, but they both have their strengths and weaknesses. That is how the Dimension Gate works. And at the end of it, you get your Soul Stone, which is used in crafting, which I believe those are used to summon the character. Now we're going to get into the Space-Time Raid. These are also kind of like raid bosses, but really OP raid bosses. Currently, they have Gabriel open. The cool thing about it, it's not always the same boss. You get to go against different bosses each time. So there's a limited window for which you can fight against that boss and then it'll become blocked. It looks like Styx will be next in 11 days. So we'll go check it out and see how we do. Really strong. I was blown away about how difficult they are. But I mean, it makes sense because most of the time those really overpowered bosses are there for a reason, because you're not supposed to beat them in one go. It's just amazing how quickly you will lose. And just like this opening animation, it's just kind of really cool. And as you can see, I've already lost a unit. Elizabeth is down. And Sophie is the only one that's left. And she's going to revive somebody, which I do like that ability of hers, though they're not going to last long. It's died. You see how quickly that ended? We'll go ahead and look at our tracks right quick and get the rewards and then the experience. And that's pretty much how the trek works. And here we have the last area, the Untamed Sanctum. You fight bosses and you can get stuff for the grimoires. And we have Ignis. I have him about a level 3, so he's going to be a little bit more difficult than the level 1 and the level 2, obviously. Untamed, I feel like the Untamed Sanctum bosses are a little bit easier than Space-Time Raids. So they're more powerful than the raid bosses, but less powerful than the Space-Time Raid. I just love this move of hers, and her like sword reminds me of Jikotsu from Inuyasha. It's so freaking amazing. I like the unhinged swords. They're really awesome. And just the background in this area is really freaking cool. And as you can see, level 3 is clearly more powerful. Looks like I'm about to lose a couple of my units. Whoop, there they go. See if we can save this just yet. And this is obviously random who she decides to revive. I'm sure like there's a method of decision there, but it always feels very random to me. But we've got him down here, so well, no, it looks like we're probably going to end up timing out because of the amount of time it has taken. And obviously you can have them attack in the order that you need to, even with auto. Like say you want them to do this move, it's a good idea to go ahead and set that up. Which is, you can do that through all the battles throughout the game. And we've won, so awesome. We've got that defeated. Now we're going to go ahead and collect our rewards. Looks like we've got some untamed sand and a false magi drive cannon. All right, now we're going to go over to the arena, and obviously this is where you're going to do your PvP. And like most games, you have your arena tickets, which I believe you get 5 per day, maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong. And I always find it cool to go up against people because you get to see what different units they pick. Of course, that was over before it started, unfortunately. Sorry, Nat. And I do like this form of PvP where it's where the characters are on the board, you can see them going against one another. I do like turnstile based combat anyway. It's one of my favorites. And it is over. Woohoo, we won. So that's how the arena works. If you are very interested in PvP, the arena is obviously going to be your place. And it's always fun to go against people and test your skills on how you level your character and how they level their character. I think that's probably one of the most exciting things about PvP is challenging other people. I mean, that's the entire point, but I think that's what it makes it so fun is you're challenging people and seeing how they went about maybe leveling a certain character or equipping a certain character with certain gear and perfecting that character. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and do these events. We'll collect these rewards. We'll go through the board game event and see how it is. We've got a 5. And we got some essence. Awesome. Got a 3. We got some AP. Got a treasure box. A treasure box. Here's 3-star equipment upgrade box. Nice. Got a couple more here. Bam, 5. Let's see what it gets us. Got 100 essence. And we've got 6, so it looks like we're going to complete the board. More essence. And some 4-star standard equipment. We'll go over here to Agnes's. We're going to spin the lucky wheel. Got some coins. Which is good to have more coins because it does take a lot of coins to do certain features of the game. So some upgrade material. And we just barely got some 3-star equipment. Alright, so that's a little bit of how that works, just to show that off. Alright, now we're just going to go through Lyca's dungeon. If it has any story with it, obviously you guys won't have to worry about seeing that, especially if you want to go through it yourself and read the story. I'm curious to see how difficult this dungeon will be. So far, it doesn't really seem to be all that hard. So we may just fly through it. And I'm curious to see what you'll get at the end of the dungeon. Okay, so it looks like you get tickets for opening event boxes. You also get like an extra 6. So I wonder if like you could eventually either get her grimoire equipment or if you get like another copy of her, which I wouldn't mind because I definitely want to strengthen her. Lyca is a really powerful unit and I was really like lucky to get her early on. I will say out of my group, Mary is probably the weakest link. I'm not saying, that's not to say that I probably can't make her stronger, but as far as the other units go, she is the weaker link. Also, if you guys hear any noise outside, I think my neighbors are having to do some maintenance, so it might be a little loud. Also, from what you guys seen so far, are you considering giving Overhit a try, or are you already currently playing Overhit, and what are your opinions? I'd like to know about them. Tell me in the comments down below. I feel like it's a very different style of game, one that is highly enjoyable, and its playability value is very high for me right now. I also think that it's very easy to come back to, so you're not completely and utterly lost. At least if you have the mechanics of the game down. All right. It looks like we can use these tickets to exchange for items. And it looks like you can get 10 soul gems of Leica at the end. So you will definitely have to replay the dungeon to be able to get the max amount of items. For what it's worth, it's super easy to go through there and do. So if you have time and want to get more soul shards of Leica, I would go through there and run through the dungeon several times to be able to get the shards, because she's definitely a worthy unit to have. Okay, so now we're going to get to the fun part, summoning. Got some tickets here, and I think they auto-use, so I've been saving them. Okay, so we got Narissa, Canola, and Tara. I really like Tara. So we're going to go over here to the premium gacha, and we're going to pull 10 times and see who comes up. Now, my only critique about this is they don't come up individually, so you don't get that ooh wow factor. You have to literally skip it to see who you get at the end. So I feel like that's one of the faults of the gacha. Like, the presentation is really pretty, but and I like the way the cards move and stuff like that, but it's just not amazing. Okay, we have Kojiro. Cool. He's an SR unit, dark type. It looks like we got a lot of fodder units. Got another copy of Hana, which I will use. We have another character that looks a lot like Terra, but just a little bit different with the coloring. And we have Mia, which I used Mia in the early days. And I'm going to go over here and pull. It's a bit expensive, but I'm curious about it. And it looks like here, buy 10 consecutive special win type gachas, guaranteed to draw at least one of the following: Gig, Ophelia, Salon, Beatrice, Celestia, Leica, Wukong, or Ash. I wonder if it's like a special version of Ash. Okay, we've got Sion. Okay, so he was our SSR unit. I do like the overall design. His armor is wicked awesome. Very detailed. Ooh, gotta love that animation. Nice. All right, we're gonna do one more premium gacha pull, and then we're gonna end things out here. Okay, we've got an SR unit, Amati. I do like the cobra underneath her head. That looks wicked awesome. The designs on her body. And she is a wind attacker unit, so cool. And we've got Imogen. I'm not super crazy about his 3D look, but that's okay. All right, and we've got another copy of Elizabeth, which I will always take. We've got someone named Turgan. Not super crazy about the design either there. Phew, that was a long video. I hadn't had in mind to make it that long, but here we are. Okay, so if you made it to the end of the video, I'm going to be now announcing the winner of my giveaway. Of course, I will also be announcing on other platforms as well, so stay tuned for that. The winner of my giveaway, drumroll please. The winner is Sleepy Mutant. Also shoot me a private message on YouTube. I'm pretty sure my inbox is open with the gift card that you want. Thank you guys so much for participating. This has been very fun for me and very exciting. I'm going to do another one at 100 subscribers, so stay tuned for that. Okay, without further ado, if you liked this video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and to keep up to date when I post new videos, hit that bell, ding. And if you want to follow me anywhere else, links in the description down below. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. This has been Tage, and I am out.